Welcome back, YouTube. This is Mike here with Crash Bushcraft. We got another series in the backyard Bushcraft series. This will be a shelter builder or a shelter building. We're actually going to be making it with some cane poles that I went out and harvested yesterday. As you can see behind us, I have taken the Bender shelter down. It is actually still put together, sitting over here to the right. It's just in case I want to put it out here in the yard or something for Caden, just to play around with or whatever. But this shelter here will actually be his. I'd like for him to be able to participate in this particular one, but time is short and we'll be able to do it again, maybe deconstruct it and put it back together one day with him. But his school and my work, they don't conflict together, they don't go together. So just hang out tight and I'll get you started on this right here and try to make this as quick as possible. First thing I'm going to actually do is I'm going to cut off 4 of these poles. They're the bamboo, cane, whichever one that you want to call it. These will actually be my ridgeline supports and things of that nature. So give me just a second and we'll get started on that. And I've already pre-marked it. I'll actually be cutting it right here. It's going to give me about 8 foot. I have my 8 foot, which is going to be my guides. I'm going to figure out where I want them from. And what this is doing is just giving me a basic outline of about how big that I'm going to be. And it gives me room to see whether or not I want to move it around or anything like that in the area to be able to get in here and do other things. You can see this. I'm going to put 4 holes in the ground, in the square that I'm going to be using. And I will go repeat this process 4 times at each corner of the 8 foot. Okay, now that I've got my floor done, I'm basically going to just take my poles and work them in the ground until they stop. And we'll be doing that on 4 posts. See, there's 4 poles that are set in the ground, possibly not 100% straight. They are set out in the ground to where they will line up, and I will come to this side and on this side. Okay guys, I have 4 posts now. They're set in the ground. They're not concreted in, they're not anything of that nature. I've got a square, semi-square, square enough for a shelter of this type right here. I'm going to go up about 4 feet high on the 2 ends, both of them on this side, and then the other one right there on that side. They're going to be running down the sides, and then that'll give me an A-frame that I will piece up like this right across the 2 of them, like that. And then we'll hang a tarp right over the top of it. Then I got some other things that I'm going to do later on, but for right now, that's all I'm going to actually be doing. So let's get tying those things together about 4 foot high. So that you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just basically going to get a small knot tied onto this at first to help support and hold it. Once I have it, then I'm going to pull out some string. I'm using bank line. It's not the black conventional tard. Put the pocket knife in the wrong pocket, guys. Should be enough to get me started. I'm not lashing this 100% today, or for this project here, part of it. Once I kind of get it, all I'm doing right now is getting it stabled. Leaving a little bit of tension on it, but not a lot. And I'm going down here to the other side, level it out, and doing the same process. This is going to tighten itself up in a minute when I spread them out over the ends of this. Now let's get a semi-positionable loop on it. Then run that around, flash it in an 8. Come back to cover. Finish it back. Now, I don't know what this is called, proper lashing, but what I have found when tying these this way, it gives you more of a tightening lever. Alright, now that I've got 3 of them, how I tighten these up is the same way you do a TP. You put 3 lashing poles in, but I lay them down this way, and I'm going to give it 1 turn. Without these trees being in my way. So giving it that 1 turn, there's so much spring in that, it's unbelievable. I could just about shoot an arrow out of it. Here's one more type of shelter. This would only need 2 sets of those poles. 6 foot by 6 foot would be more than enough for you to be able to tie up and hang off anything that you would need to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take right here, this little section right in there, I'm going to trim those down before I hang them so I don't have to do it on a ladder. So give me just a second, but that's just another shelter type system that I was going to go ahead and use it for a couple of weeks out here, but I wanted to go ahead and get this whole thing constructed so I would have enough room to be able to do all the things I wanted to do whenever the weather wasn't good. One of the things that I wanted to mention about something other, this is a hurried shelter, and this is just something I'm putting together roughly. It's been about 45 minutes now, and I'm this far into it. This can all be made with wood. In a situation of this would be a long-term situation. If you're just out for 72 hours, that's the most common scenario that they speak of. This would not be the one that I would probably attempt to go with. I'd go with a bender shelter, maybe just a debris shelter. Even if you had a tarp or whatever with you, a low line, depending on the area and what time of the year, would make different changes in that. So, but this here's just another little simple structure that you could actually do in your backyard. And the cool thing about this is you can actually get away with building it if you park your lawnmower under it. The wife doesn't say as much about it. So